Welcome back, everybody. Hello, PAX Arena. Boston. I love it. This crowd is fired up, guys. Welcome back to the Splatoon 2 North America Inkling Open 2019 Finals. Not only do we have two more exciting matches for you, right after that, we are going to have the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North America Open 2019 Finals, which I am super excited about. I know a lot of people here are ready to see some Smash, but before that, we gotta play some more Splatoon.
We do, and we've got what might be the most exciting set of the tournament playing next. Demise versus FTWIN. I called it a fireworks show earlier. That's what I'm hoping that we're going to see. Two of the most aggressive teams. And Milana, this time I'm gonna toss to you. Who are you looking for on each team? Give me two, one from Demise, one from FTWIN.
All right, I am looking forward to seeing Ice play. As like I mentioned before, he's a dynamite backliner, and as like a personal anecdote, he's been really helpful in helping me develop as like a competitive player. So he is just an all-around nice guy. I'm looking forward to watching him play on the big stage.
You're a fan of Ice.
I am a fan of Ice.
I love it.
Low-key.
Ice is nice.
Ice is nice.
Ice is nice.
Nice.
And how about on Demise?
I am looking forward to Zero. Zero is an incredible frontliner, always wins his 1v1s. Some call him the best T-Tech NA. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him play.
Well, we are headed to, once again, Muscle Forge Fitness. This is where 9 works out every morning, and we are going to do tower control once again.
Not a lot to say about that comment, nor this map and mode. We've seen it already. These teams will be playing the same set that we just saw to keep it even, but both sides once again bringing out that Kensa undercover Brella, that Kunder. You can see DJ on one side and 2D on the other side, going to be using that there. And again, that support role, Milana, we know is so strong at all times.
I think it's such an interesting pick that Ice is actually not playing a backliner this time. He chose the Slosher Deco, and I've actually never seen him play a midline weapon, so I'm looking forward to seeing this.
You can bet he's going to be skilled at it, but I like that idea too. It tells me that they are trying to be a bit more mobile, but it also might come back to bite them. This means that Raziel is going to have free reign of the backlines, but there is no free reign when Kyo is on the prowl, Ashley.
Yes, absolutely not. He is an absolute beast. When he is on his game, he cannot be stopped. We can see Shaq doing his best, but at the end of the day, oh man, it's so tough. You get boxed out so easily.
Well, and you see that they've brought both a Stingray as well as the Tenta missiles here. Those are two long-range specials that are going to be able to slow down the tower from relatively safe positions. That's very important. That's what you want. And 77, as we know, not a big push at all on this map, Milana.
Definitely. And we can see that the tower has moved back to the middle, and both teams are really just fighting it out for a little bit of control before they decide to make their next push.
And you can see we have FTWIN with a little bit of a lead here, but Demise did actually put some points up on the board. I'm really curious to see Demise has a little bit of a special advantage at this point. We're going to watch Raziel use that beautiful Stingray and do his best to take out a couple of members of FTWIN.
And they did their great job taking out actually two people. That's going to reset things to a fairly neutral position here. And you see Raziel watching over that tower as well. Understands as long as I'm here, the opponent can't haphazardly approach me. They need to respect my positioning here. And again, we're going to see that double baller composition that can be so scary. And Shaq actually snuck through. I don't even think they saw him there. That's going to be the first checkpoint down in a flash, Milana.
And definitely, like you said, once they make it past the second checkpoint, it could potentially be the game. And this push is still going strong.
They're doing a really great job on FTWIN of keeping their opponents, just Demise, away from the tower entirely. They're not even getting close.
No, they're not. You can see they've already been pushed back. And look at that. Kyo switching to the backside to punish tension there. What a great pivot. Second checkpoint down. And Zero rushing to at least try to mitigate some of the damage here. And actually he's able to go ahead and get a punish on that super jump. But again, that second checkpoint down so quick. Demise has been trying to find their footing ever since that first minute, Ashley.
But they do take back the tower. They're going to go ahead and ride that. But they have to go through a lot of enemy territory to be able to start putting points again on the board. You can see, finally, it's back at the middle. We're going to start seeing some points get put on the board if they can stay on that tower.
Great job there taking out Raziel. I'm sorry, Kyo there. Raziel was the one who got the pick. And you need to be able to do that, right? Kyo is going on solo missions right here to spread out those dynamite frontliners that we talked about. Even as good of a frontliner as you can be, if you can get them separated like DJ was at the top of the screen there, that is what you are wanting to do as we see FTWIN painting this map, going for their specials. You can see at the top of your screen those small numbers up there next to the weapons. That is the special counter. When it hits 100, the special is active. And once again, Demise going to try to give it another go, but the specials are ready, Milana.
Yeah, definitely. And then we see that in this case, Demise is really trying to make a push as a team. Before they were just a little bit spread out, so I'm hoping that this will come to fruition for them.
It looks like they're trying to stay together a lot more now. They're protecting each other, and that does seem to be paying off with the tower. They have lost it, but they do, I mean, they're right on it. DJ's right on that tower. They're going to ride it in. Kyo is going to do his best to take out. He's doing his best, but he doesn't quite make it.
What a beautiful wait there by Zero, understanding that Kyo has been going back behind them every single time there's been a push. That time, he was waiting for it, and if this Booyah Bomb is able to ward people away, they might actually get to the checkpoint, and the lead, 3, 2, 1, Demise is in the lead, and 45 seconds left in this game. Ashley, what a comeback this has been.
Absolutely a comeback. They are at that third checkpoint. They are going to wait it out for about 25 beats, and if they can do so, I think they've got this in the bag. There's only
Cannonball made of ice. Fantastic play right there, and it's so nice because that means they're going to be able to take back mid. That is always the first objective whenever you are trying to make this comeback. Keep an eye on the top of the screen. That charger all the way on the right side, that is Raziel's Stingray. That is now the most important thing on the map. They need to find a way to get Raziel out. And Milana, if you're trying to make a comeback here and you're FTWIN, what do?
You need to
Raziel's
take
gone.
out Raziel. That's literally what they needed to do, and they did it. So this is overtime, and they have to make sure that Raziel does not build that Stingray. If that Stingray comes out, it is GG. So let's see how Zero can potentially stop this push. Oh, 1-2D takes them out.
It's that undercover Brella right there, giving him the defense available. They don't have anybody there. DJ's doing his best.
This is gonna be neck and neck.
They did it!
Wow.
All the way at the end, and Zero almost clutched it out. You saw waiting. For those not familiar with the tower mechanics, as long as you have somebody on the tower, even in overtime, you will continue to push forward there. And credit to Hootie not budging an inch when Zero rushed the tower. But if this
These numbers were so evenly matched on both teams.
And this is what we wanted from this set. That game one is going to show you exactly how these teams play, exactly how closely matched they are.
We're gonna go to a replay. I wanna watch some of this. We gotta talk about what we just saw. This was absolutely amazing. So we've got Demise up on the tower. They're doing their best. This is the double splat that I think pretty much won it for them. That was a key clutch play.
And you know, we're gonna look back at that and maybe wonder why Raziel didn't push back a little bit further. We said that Raziel's Stingray was going to be the most important part, and I understand that Raziel didn't have a ton of turf to work with in their own zone. Had to push into a little bit of a dangerous position, but oftentimes you will see chargers jump back to try and just preserve any Stingray that they do have. So that might have been a bit of a misplay there.
I think so, because without that Stingray, it's really, really hard to push back. And with the Stingray, also coined as the GG Ray.
Yep.
So once you put that out, it's so hard to actually push back for an overtime.
Well, we see a lot on Team What? We see Power jumping back. We see him always jumping back to base, try to keep that special. And we didn't quite see that here because Raziel is an extremely aggressive backliner. A lot of the time he is pushing a little farther forward than you'd expect, but for the most part, it works out for him. It works out for him.
And like to the credit there, if Raziel hits 1 or 2 shots there with under 20 seconds left, they're not going to get the chance to get 2 people to the tower. So it's one of those judgment decisions you have to make at the last second that can be very difficult to make. And you know, if Raziel hits 2 shots, they win the game. We're singing the praises.
Yeah, of course.
But
It's one of those moments, again, a clutch moment that didn't quite go his way, but could have easily just as well gone the opposite direction. And he could have clutched it for them. He could have totally won the game.
And now, back to Black Billy Skate Park. Clam Blitz And again,
Ready for those Clam Blitz.
Clam Blitz. And a map of fireworks once again. And I think I liked that we saw a double bucket composition there. We saw the Kensa Slosher machine coming out from Kyo. And of course, we saw Ice on that Slosher Deco. Those are fantastic weapons on this map. So we will see if they opt to continue to do that or what the change might be.
I am surprised to see a bucket of ice out on the playing field, but I like it and I want to see more of it. If that's what it's going to look like, I really enjoyed it. So let's talk about Clam Blitz a little bit. On this map with these teams, I think it's going to take quite a while before we see a score from either of them. It looks like we are ready to go. As you said, fireworks, I think this is going to be an extremely difficult scoring situation for both teams.
Look for both teams to be a little bit conservative at the start. You can see those clams that are currently on the map give you enough of an opportunity to build a nice little stash. And Toon is going here with something that's a little different. We have a Splattershot Pro, but it is what we call the vanilla Splattershot Pro. This has rain, but it also has those point sensors. That is not something that we have talked about, but they know that Zero and Demise like to be very crafty with their pushes. They like to sneak around. Not going to be able to do that when you are marked. Let's take a look at Raziel here, already marked, but it's Charger, not a big deal. And going and getting the punishment on Ice, a little revenge for the end of that last game here. But that's why these opening picks are so important, Milana. You have to be able to build up the clams and the early control.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, just by being able to take out the opponents, you have that turf to maneuver, you have that turf to build up the clams. And the more turf you have, the more clams light up.
Now, when you're on Clam Blitz and you are fighting to, one, keep your clams, get the power clam, get everybody in there. You can see, here comes the jump. Are they going to open it up? They did. They broke the barrier. They're throwing in clams like it's going out of style. They're already under 50. This is crazy.
Go.
Kyo on the ink brush opened that entire thing. We didn't even talk about Kyo's ink brush. It is not a joke. This is terrifying to go up against on Clam Blitz and on this map as a whole. Ran right in and now getting the punishment. Almost a double. That will be a full wipe.
Not quite enough for that 3v1. Not quite enough.
Not quite enough. 3v1 versus a brush. Just a little too much for even Kyo to do. But again, the ink brush, the baller, we've seen it so many times, Milana. People don't respect the weapon as much as they should.
I think that it can definitely be useful. I know a lot of people kind of scoff at the fact that you're playing Clam Blitz with an ink brush, but I mean, you see it here, folks. Top level play ink brush on Clam Blitz.
It can be done, friends. If you love the ink brush, you play the ink brush. You do you. All right, so we've got Ice here. He is once again got that bucket. He's out there. He is throwing ink all over the place, but isn't quite able to hide.
And we're seeing this setup on the left side. This is what we saw in the last game. This is what was trying to go for here. You see they continue to push forward, and the frontliner Zero does go down as a result. And this is why this push is so difficult to do. Everyone knows which way you're going. You have the power glam, you're going to overload one side, and they're willing to wait. Now this Stingray from Raziel is going to be big. If they're able to take out Kyo as well, who is very low on health, they might be able to get a double jump in, but it looks like Kyo does manage to stay alive. And you see 29 clams right now, Milana. They have the assets to make a push if they can find a way through.
The baller versus baller, let's go. But unfortunately, Chat getting taken out by Zero. And I think this might be an opportunity for Demise to make that push that they're looking for.
A crucial 1v1. You saw Tension go in. They were both a little too short. They stopped them there. You saw both of those jumps. Those were both attempted.
That was extremely dangerous situation for FTWIN to be in, and they were able to hold the line. That was a huge play. That kept everybody out and from scoring.
Great composure there. As you see, once again, Demise has done a great job of building up the clams. That has not been where the area of struggle has been. It's just been great execution from Kyo, who continues to run around and be a nuisance. Uh-oh, Raziel, you better go the other way fast. Great bomb there to protect the backliner. And Kyo finally going down, but look at how much attention he attracted in that play, Milana.
Definitely. And just seeing, like, just distracting them will allow the rest of his team to really build clams, build specials, build turf.
So one of the things, speaking of building specials, you can see is that these teams at the high level can build a special so quickly. You're going to see a lot of baller, especially from Tension, from Kyo. I mean, these are players who can build up a baller in 25 seconds.
It can, but you see right there some disconnection. We're starting to see some big mistakes coming out of Demise. They had the baller up in the right position, but the jump was not ready. I think they were shuffling some clams around. Maybe Kyo was up in their face, making that difficult again. But that shows me that they're trying to force some plays right now and that it's not quite going their way. As we get to 45 seconds, Milana, what do you look to do in this situation if you are Demise?
I definitely would really focus on turf. As you can see, most of the map is in FTWIN's favor, and FTWIN making a jump, making another push into the basket.
Are they going to continue to score? Yes, they do. They clear that penalty, no problem. They only have 22 points left. With 23 seconds, they're still dropping stuff in. They're still going. They're not stopping. But finally, Demise is able to clear the zone and get out there. But they have got to make some big plays right now. There's only 10 seconds left.
Do some quick math here. You can only have 40 clams with you at one time. Even if all of those clams happen to be power clams, that's still only 80 points. They're going to need perhaps the biggest push I've ever seen. DJ going down to a rogue suction bomb there. And tension's waiting, but even if you are holding this power clam, you only have a short amount of time in overtime, and Kyo's not even gonna let it go to that. Going around again, swing that brush, young man. Essentially a triple. That is gonna end the game with some style and flair. Kyo clapping, he knows what he did.
Yeah,
Look at
Pop it
man.
off with that ink brush.
He knows it. Man, when you get moments like that during play, it feels so good to know, like, I ended that. With authority, with authority. That was a very decisive victory. That's the kind of play I expect from FTWIN. Let's talk a little bit about the strategy there. We talked about the clam economy. We've got to talk about the economy of clams. But there just was no, like you said, you do the math, there's no way to come back at that point unless a miracle happens.
Essentially, a Hail Mary of Hail Marys is what that would have taken there. And that just shows you that FTWIN, consistent, excellent play, right? We say all the time in Splatoon, you have to make consistent game-winning pushes because of how volatile and how quickly this game moves. And they did just that. They had a big score, followed by a big score, followed by another big score. All of those were good enough pushes on their own, and to get 3 of them in one game tells me it was either the map that they knew, they were just better coordinated, but I do know one thing, and that is that Demise needs to find some answers quickly.
Very, very quickly. Milana, so we saw on this map, like you said, a whole lot of ink put down, and not quite in FTWIN's favor. We saw a lot of purple on the map for Demise, but it didn't quite translate to scoring.
So turf is important to maneuver around, but I think that Kyo having that ink brush allows him to maneuver even if there's no turf. And he is just a deadly force no matter what weapon he plays.
And you're able to move so quickly with the brush. I think that that's a thing that a lot of players maybe get taken off guard by. It's very easy to flank people when you have a brush because you can just skate right behind somebody and they don't see you because, you know, the brush is pretty small and you just like get back in there, swipe, 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 and then it's over.
And on that same note, if you have an entire area of the map that is covered in your colored ink, you can pretty reliably assume, okay, nobody's going there. Right? I mean, if they're going there, we can open our map, we can see, we can notice. But by the time you notice that the brush has maneuvered through your territory, it's too late. They already got where they wanted to go. And we saw a couple times they jumped to Kyo when he was not even in a baller. Oftentimes you run a baller that way, but they didn't have any defenses over there because the brush is just too darn quick.
It's too quick.
And even on top of that, when you pop the baller, there's a sound effect, whereas the brush is
it's a little quieter.
Yeah, it's a little quieter.
I'm not going to try to imitate it, but it is very quiet.
It's a little quick. Sneaky.
Not for the fans?
No, not for the fans. Sorry, everybody. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
So now we're moving on to Splat Zones. This is the quintessential pro-level mode. That's just one of my favorite modes to watch. Let's talk about Splat Zones a little bit for these two teams. Do you think that either team has an advantage over the other here?
Well, based on this map, I'm going to have to go ahead and give it to FTWIN because I think on a more wide open map, you might favor Demise a little bit, right? They have those frontliners who can push up ahead of the zone and force the opponent to burn their specials to get to the zone instead of burning them on the zone, which is ideally what you'd be able to do. But because Anchovy Games has those fans, as we call them, that raise up and you have to do that, it slows down aggressive teams here. And I think I don't know, man. I think Raziel in particular needs to come up huge because he's going to be
really
one of the only weapons on the map that's going to be able to influence all of it from a position of safety.
It looks like we are ready to get into Splat zones. I don't know what's going to happen, guys. I don't know. Maybe I feel like an upset is coming. I'm not sure. I feel like it could right in my heart, right in my little squid heart. So let's go to Anchovy Games. Once again, my favorite development studio, second only to Nintendo, of course.
I see, got to do that. And we see a very different composition. This is going to take a minute to break down, but let's start it on the far left there. You see 2D is going with the mini Splatling. This is a weapon that has just very recently come up into the forefront of the meta, jumping from the C tiers to some people putting it in S+. And we also see the Explosion Milana as well as a Rage Blaster. This is a lot of indirect, distant burst damage, and Kyo doing his thing. It doesn't matter what weapon.
It doesn't matter what weapon, but I know for a fact that Kyo is a master of blasters. He doesn't miss his shots. He just doesn't. He does the 180 no scope, and it's just like, there it is.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
No, blasters are great if you don't miss.
Yes, that is very true. And you can see he already has that almost ability. Yeah, throws out his Ink Storm. Talk about Ink Storm just a little bit, Nine. That is a slowdown maneuver. It's meant to keep people away from that Splat zone.
It's slow down, it's zoning, and it's very, very difficult because you can't just force your way through it. You're going to take entirely too much damage no matter who all you put there. This is a great bomb rush that should at least slow down this zone maneuver. But you see Toon on the backside doing nothing but keeping the zone painted. Finally, we do have a game here, and this is where Demise needs to push up. They need to protect their support players. Right now, DJ is getting caught off by himself a little bit too much. I'd like to see them push back here. And again, Zero winning the 1v1 versus Kyo. And a 1v2 that Zero has won, trying to bring this back himself. Not able to do it there, but we're seeing signs of life, Milana.
Shaq getting taken out by that torpedo. The torpedo, even if you don't know the enemy is there, the torpedo knows.
The torpedo always knows. And now we can see, finally, Demise putting some points on the board. They are running that countdown timer, but we're going to see a pretty big push, I think, right now for FTWIN.
That was a great direct by Kyo there. I know he got taken out right after, but taking out Zero on the front lines is very big because it's going to allow everyone else to move and take the zone without as much resistance. Now, they did chew through a lot. There is a lot of timer still on, but at least they got through that now. And again, I think Zero's getting a little bit antsy here. You see him moving up a little bit alone in Milana. We know you can't go forward without a support player at this level.
Definitely, because when you face the 1v1s at this high level competition, you don't want to risk it. You want to make sure that you have that backup. You want to make sure that you are guaranteed it. And also that bomb.
Wow, just doesn't even bother caring about that, caring about the shield there. The wall doesn't matter.
The wall does not matter. And, let's talk a little bit more about this composition as this timer starts to wind down. This is an indirect burst damage composition. What we mean by that is it is a lot of long-range weapons and subs that can put damage on people from safe positions. You have the Explosion, you have the burst bumps on the mini Splatling, and of course you have Kyo on that range blaster as well. To say nothing for Shaq, who has a baller every 5 seconds.
So I want to talk a little bit about keeping the high ground in this map. This is a map where the Splat zone is actually kind of down in the lowest part of the map. There's a lot of high zone. There's a lot of keeping the high zone. And then, of course, once you clear everybody out, you can jump in there.
Tension.
Getting taken down on the way up. The mini Splatling, one of the few weapons that can put out that kind of damage that quickly here. And again, we're starting to run into the last 90 seconds here, and they still have to get through that checkpoint, or I'm sorry, that timer. Now, if there is one thing that is nice here for Demise, the penalty does not continue to stack after you've taken it down initially. So really that 22 is not going to get much higher than that, but they have to find a way back in now. FTWIN is so close. That Booyah Bomb has no follow-up, and Shaq once again with the baller. They're throwing everything they have at the zone here. Just 5 seconds. 3, 2, can they do it? They take it!
They take it back. There's a penalty. Oh my goodness. That was very clutch. I'm very impressed.
I'm very impressed.
The composure to pull a play like
Absolutely.
that. And now the checkpoint has been gone. They are now scoring actual points here, and every pick is going to matter so much here. They need to keep themselves up and safe. I love the tension and DJ are together here. They need to find maybe 2 more picks. If they're able to get 1 more wipe, they might be able to do it, but you see all the specials
full
coming
4v4.
out.
Everything's coming out. They're putting it down on the line. And FTWIN takes it. No, they've got it. No, they've got it. No.
One
has it.
person went down in that situation. Every special came out and 1 person went down, but they did what they needed to do. You see they applied a big penalty that is equal to their score. Now FTWIN, you saw them jump back. They are betting it all on being able to come back in 1 more time. They know they
10
need
seconds left.
They need 1 more neutralization to do this. Can they do it? Crowd, if you have any hype left in you, this is the time. This is a big play right here.
It is an overtime. They are moving.
And they're bringing in the specials.
Bringing in
Ice
specials.
with the baller.
Baller.
Double baller!
Double baller going to do it. The patience, the composure to know that they only needed 1 more take. If they had to sacrifice everything else to get that last take, it was going to be enough. And FTWIN with a 3-0 victory over Demise, a close, hard-fought victory coming down to 2 overtimes going in favor of FTWIN. We wanted a great set, and we got one.
We absolutely got one. I want to talk a little bit really quickly about keeping your composure when you have specials. I think a lot of times players who are not at this high level might feel pressured to use their special as quickly as possible. This is where these players separate themselves from the pack. They wait to use their specials. Milana, talk a little bit about what it means to hold those specials until, just like we saw, the moment where we need them the most.
I mean, you just saw it, right? By having Ice and Shaq hold their ballers, they could take the zone all at once, ending the game right there. By using it together, you amplify the effect of that special.
And we're seeing some really great sportsmanship here. We got hugs getting passed out. Everyone's happy to play. I really have to give it to both of these teams. I am so thrilled to watch these players play at the top of their game. Everybody give a great round of applause to these teams.
It warms my little heart to see gracious winners and,
Always gracious winners. I love that. I love it. All right, so I think we should look maybe at the, I think we gotta look at the bracket. Let's look at the bracket.
Let's update it for those of you at home
Update that bracket.
who are following along. We, of course, had Low-Key winning our earlier match against What, and that fantastic set we just saw, FTWIN getting their win over Demise, meaning that we have Low-Key versus FTWIN here in our finals. This is going to be a best of 7. Ooh, all the marbles on the table right here.
It's all on the line. They are playing for the chance to go to the World Championships in Los Angeles, which, those are big stakes.
Representing
Really
North
big stakes.
America, too.
Representing all of North America, not just the US, Canada, Mexico, all of us. We're representing everybody. We are going to take a quick break, though, before our finals, and we will be right back. Stick around.